Hi, this video is for ADVETI staff to understand the EmSAT invigilation and some changes to procedure that happened recently. In this we'll just go through the responsibilities of the site supervisor, same for the invigilators, the little changes to procedure, a video to show you how to enter the test, and then the links that you need. So first of all, the responsibilities of the site supervisor, they just confirmed. The main responsibility is to communicate with the MOE. So anything to do with preparation for the test, for the administration of the test, for incident reports like cheating, and for any technical issues on the day, that comes through them. You have to monitor the staff, so you have to provide the schedule for them, the location. Now that's quite important, that which specific room they are in. You have to do the training and tell them about their responsibilities, and then on the day of the test you support them. For the candidates, you need to assign them to a particular lab, monitor their attendance in some way, and look if any of them have any special needs. So you check that on the system. And then the administration, you need to do the incident reports, to monitor the attendance, to collect the assessment tickets and the scratch paper, but also you need to store them for 1 year. They did indicate that. The responsibilities of the invigilators: when the students enter, you need to be checking the ID thoroughly. You need to guide them to a specific device and a room now. It's not open for which room, you have to put them in a particular room. And then you need to enter the proctor code per student, and you need to keep it hidden from the student. This part of it will disappear, but we're just waiting for confirmation on that. For test conditions, you need to keep the phones off and away from the device where they're working at. There can't be any talking with the students. You need to keep the Emirates ID on the table. They didn't specify that that's gone now. You need to monitor actively. They told it's a high stakes test. You need to be very vigilant and you need to take it very seriously. So focus on the invigilation, and you must never allow students to leave the room for any reason before they complete the test. At the end of the test, you need to make sure they exit the test, that you usher them out of the room. They can't hang around. You need to collect their assessment tickets and scratch paper, and you should sign the ticket and then return it to the supervisor. Just want to make one point about checking ID thoroughly. This is something that can cause problems. So it's not just a matter of looking at the ID. You should hold the ID up to the face level of the student. They can do it or you can do it. You must look back and forth between the face and the picture to ascertain whether it's the right person. If you can't tell, ask them to remove their face mask if necessary. If it's a female, you might need to ask a female to do this. You can ask basic questions related to the ID. There's not much information on there, but you should ask, how old are you? When's your birthday? What's your father's name? Little simple questions, and if you ask them quickly in a row, you might be able to gauge who they are. And if you're absolutely not sure, it's fine to ask for a second ID just to check if that's they're carrying ID more than just for themselves. So, the changes to procedure. Number one, the tickets have gone. There are no more tickets to print and there's no test code to enter. They log in via their Emirates ID. The invigilators must be designated in advance of the test day, so you need to enter them into the system. Devices need to be approved, so you need to indicate which devices are being used with a numbering system, and you assign an invigilator to each device, and then the site supervisor approves. This is the key point. There's no concurrent login. So this means that when we used to be able to, if we had a technical problem, we could move them from one device to another. No, it's just one device for the student now. There is a way to move them to another one, but it involves the teacher again. So you must monitor every time you enter. I think by allowing people to work on two devices meant that someone could operate the same exam in another room or another location entirely. Camera, they want room cameras and they want a camera on each device. This has not happened yet, but it's definitely coming, and it's something that we need to think about. And then the login record. So they did show us a record of which student, where they sat it, who actually took the exam, that would be the photo, and who was the invigilator for that student. So this will flag in the future if there's a cheating incident, where exactly it happened, because they can only do it on one device per student. So here are the 5 steps to enter the test. Step 1, the site supervisor adds the invigilators. Step 2, the invigilator adds the rooms and devices. Step 3, the site supervisor approves the room and devices. Step 4, the student enters the test. Step 5, the invigilator enters the proctor code. Step 5 might not happen anymore. They didn't confirm during the training. This is step 1.
So you go to the supervisor link and you enter the email and the password that was given to you. Then you have the dashboard, which shows you the center name, the number of teachers, students, and exams. You need to go to Invigilators and create new to add each invigilator. Add the name of the person, full name, then add the start time and the end time of their invigilation, and they'll be able to enter the system during these times. You'll see the name here on the dashboard. Then you need to share this code with them. You can just send it to them in an email or a message, or you can print it clicking on that button and sending them this page, whichever way you want to give it to them.
This is step 2. So then the invigilator would go to this link, enter their center, the code that you gave them. Then they need to enter the room that they're in. Now it's not the same as the room number for the school, it's just that's what they're using, EmSAT room number 1, and then a device for each one, and click submit. They need to do this for each device. This is step 3. So after the teacher enters the device, it will say supervisor will approve. So the supervisor goes back into the center, clicks on devices or rooms, and then goes to the drop arrow to select approve on the right hand side where it says actions. This is step 4. So now the student can enter the exam. The device is approved and they are sitting at it. They need to enter their Emirates ID and click submit. They will then see the EmSAT exams they are registered for. Maybe they have 2 or 3, not just 1. There will be a time and a date. They need to click on the exam they're doing and click start. This will open the lockdown browser. This is step 5. So when lockdown browser opens, it may ask for a proctor code. They didn't confirm whether this would be on or off for the next test. So if there's a proctor code, this is where you enter it. This is if there is a problem and the student needs to change the device they're using. So if an exam is blocked, it will say submitted for the exam. You need to go to the lock key at the top, and then you need to enter the same teacher ID that you had to enter the devices earlier. Click that and then gain access, and it will open the exam for the student on another device. So remember the 5 steps. It's site supervisor adding the invigilator adding the rooms and devices. The site supervisor approves those rooms and devices. The student then enters the test, and maybe the invigilator needs to enter a proctor code at that last point. If there is a problem and you need to change, only the invigilator, the same invigilator, can unlock it with the proctor code, with their ID code. Here are the links to the test. So they're all very similar. They have been told us to put the one at the top, EmSAT Center one. This needs to be put on all devices. The site supervisor will add reporter. That's how they can get into adding the invigilators. The invigilators need to add this one, student, then teacher submit. They can enter the devices. And then the student would do student submit, and they would enter the Emirates ID. But I believe that the link at the top will cover all of these entry points. Okay, thank you very much.